What's going on, guys? Oh my Godzilla, back here with another Godzilla figure review. Guys, today we are taking a look at the Banda movie monster series Kaiser Ghidorah from Godzilla Final Wars. Let's take a look at this guy, hopping right in.
Oh my god!
Okay, if the tag's any indication of this figure, we're in for a treat. However, I think this tag might be the high point of this thing. Tag looks great, image is really, really clear. Kaiser Ghidorah, 2023 logo there. Checking out the inside and the back, we kind of have a wing, the Final Wars film logo, movie monster series. Let's get this thing sleeved up and jump into the figure. Alrighty, there is that, and moving into the figure right off the bat, the faces, enough said, I think. But let's start low and go high. The toe claws actually don't look too bad, painted pretty decently. We've got some nice kind of paint sprayed on the front of the figure, moving up the legs. The knees look pretty decent as well, moving up the thighs. Got good detail in here, actually. So detail on this figure for the, down here on the leg parts, pretty decent. The back of the figure legs are, detail again, is good. Paint, terrible on the back. They totally just bailed. They really just gave the front a spray and didn't do hardly anything else. The back of the toe claws are painted, but none of the other back of this figure is painted. The wings barely get a little bit of attention. I think people could do some really good repaints. I am not a repainter, so not me, but somebody will do a fun repaint on this guy. Detail looks good coming up the chest again. Necks look pretty decent, I think. Also, I mean, but the main thing, you got pretty good detail, decent paint on the front. It presents pretty well here, here down, and then you get to these faces, and just my goodness. I think what really does it is the teeth. He hardly looks like they're like tucked so far back under. And they barely exist. You can see on the, the front face here, they're so small on the front. I mean, when you look at this guy, he looks like he doesn't have any teeth. He looks like he looks like Grandpa Kaiser Ghidorah, lost all his teeth and doesn't have his dentures in. So that's just really where my biggest complaint comes from. I think if they had fixed the teeth, this figure would just immediately elevate right off the bat. Again, lazy paint though, for nothing here on the sides of the neck. The detail is phenomenal, I think, actually. Really solid detail, but just the paint, they just totally bailed. Back of the figure looks okay. The backs of the head look fine. Paint looks decent here. Good on the back of the figure. The wings are actually painted pretty well. They're tiny, but what do you expect from the movie monsters, Bandai? Front half of the tail is not painted. Back half is. That's the first time I've ever seen that from Bandai. Normally they bail on the back half. This time they bailed on the front half. You got the two tails. Detail on those is pretty underwhelming, but that's, what do you expect? And then I got a warped leg. I'm not sure how many other figures are coming with a warped leg. So maybe try and take the hairdryer to that later and see if we can fix that, because that warp is pretty bad. And so I just tried to the back legs, tough plastic, but that's a little bit hard to move. Look at this front leg though. Like the squishiest plastic ever, and it takes a long time to recover. That's so weird. This figure is just confusing as heck. Back to the detail and paint on the face though. The tongues are all painted purple. They got the Thanos tongue in there. The eyes are red and painted accurately, so that I have to give them props for that. And the detail on the, aside from the mouth, the detail on the, if we look at this middle head, ignoring the teeth, just kind of the area around the eye, these kind of spins coming off the side of his head. The detail on this figure is really actually impressive. The two things that really get it for me are the teeth being so basically non-existent, and the fact that the paint is just real. The paint's pretty bad, aside from the front and the top. There's just no detail paint. The wings left basically unpainted on the bottoms. The whole belly and underside of this figure. From this angle, he's hardly painted. It's ridiculous. And then another thing that kind of plagues this figure is articulation. Do the heads move? No. Necks? No. These heads are have this weird, all the tops of the heads are like a separate piece, but nothing's articulated. So heads, no. Necks, no. Wings, no. You could flap the wings because the vinyl's so thin there, but nothing there. Tail, not articulate. Back legs, built into the figure. The only piece of articulation we have is these front legs, which you can get 360 out of them, so I guess that's fine. That's something. But that's the only articulation we get. And the plastic on these is so bendy, it's almost hard to do the full articulation because the plastic just caves. Like, you can give him knee articulation if you want to just bend the heck out of the vinyl. So guys, this figure really is confusing to me. Detail, I would give detail a pretty high ranking. It's a very detailed figure, with the exception of these stupid mouths, which is obviously a pretty big part to leave undetailed, is the mouth. It just, the face of a figure is such a, something you look at, one of the first things you look at. So if that's not on point, the whole figure, it's hard to recover from that, I guess. But the detail, aside from that, is pretty good. The paint, terribly lazy. They threw the gold on the front, they threw it on the back. That's about it. They left a ton unpainted. And we'll take a look at this guy next to the 8-inch in a second and just see just how much of a downgrade this guy actually ends up being. Let's go ahead and size him up to a couple of figures in his size range, starting with the new 2023 Final Wars Godzilla. So, the scaling's actually pretty decent here. They got some height on him. Obviously, Kaiser Ghidorah is supposed to be just ginormous. So I like the fact that he definitely at least has, a full head above Godzilla. So I'll definitely have to give them props for that. And he's pretty wide, all things considered. So I don't actually even hate the sizing. I thought this guy would just be stupid tiny, and he could be bigger, but I'm actually I'm pleasantly surprised by his height. Next figure we're taking a look at him with is the 2023 Monster X, which again suffered from some pretty lazy paint apps. This height's fine for me. Obviously, Monster X turns into Kaiser Ghidorah. You got there's the 3 heads, 1, 2, 3. So he kind of sprouts from there. So this sizing's fine. But even he had some teeth issues, but they're better than this. My goodness. But there's the sizing for Monster X. And just to compare him to one more in the Final Wars family, this is the new Final Wars Movie Monsters 2023 Ghidorah. Just obviously these guys have 0 screen time together. But I just wanted to, give you a feel for him, his size again, compared to the Ghidorah. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, in the moment we've all been waiting for, comparing the new guy to the original 8-inch Kaiser Ghidorah. So, obviously, night and day, apples and oranges, basically. Just look at this guy. I need to do a new, a throwback review on this figure, because this is just an amazing figure. We got beautiful head articulation, neck articulation, good sculpts on the teeth. Look at those teeth. They look gorgeous. Better horns, more horns, neck spines, neck fins. Great black and gold paint throughout everything. Underside of the wings a little bit left alone. Just beautiful paint on these toe claws. The whole figure is painted up coming around the back here. Two separate individually articulated tails. So, it really does truly feel like comparing apples to oranges, because this Kaiser Ghidorah is just so phenomenal. And then there's this guy. So, the main thing that just gets me is just look at these two heads side by side. That's not even the same figure we're looking at. My goodness, guys. Just for reference, if anyone wants to take a quick peek, there is our tag on this guy. I almost like the new tag better, though. I love that image they chose. Kaiser Ghidorah really pops and looks great. So, in the head-to-head, I'll give this guy the edge on the tag, and that is 1,000% the only thing I'm giving him points on compared to the 8-inch. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The new Bandai Movie Monster Series 2023 Kaiser Ghidorah figure. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section below. I'm still torn on this guy. He's not a bad figure. For the price, if you can get him at the price that he comes at, $25-30 bucks, it's fine. It gets the job done. It's cool to have a Kaiser Ghidorah. They've been tearing through the Final Wars lineup, so I'm glad they gave us one. They definitely could have given us a better one. I think, seriously, for me, all that they would have to have done to fix this figure, I could forgive the lame, totally lazy paint. If these head sculpts were just better, just give us better teeth, and that would have taken this figure just to a very, very acceptable level. Whereas this guy now is slightly underwhelming. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Anyone else pick this guy up? Give me your opinions on this figure. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you in the next one.